What up guys, it's Markin. I got another League of Legends champion guide for you, and today we're going over the Master of the Shadows, Zed. Now Zed is one of my favorite champions in all of League of Legends. He's one of my most played champions as well. He's mainly a mid laner, and what makes him special is that he is tons of fun. He has no mana, so you don't have to worry about being reliant on blue buff or even worry about spamming your abilities, and his escapes are second to none. Maybe LeBlanc, but Zed's escapes are excellent if you know how to use his shadow. Now, it's pretty easy to be an OK Zed, but it's extremely hard to become a master of Zed, and hopefully this guide will get you started on the right foot. So let's get into his abilities. Zed's passive is called Contempt for the Weak. Whenever you auto-attack an enemy below 50%, could be a minion, could be a champion, it doesn't matter, could be a monster, it does not matter, you deal an additional amount of damage of their maximum health. So it starts out as 6% and goes up to 10% based on your level. At level 17 it's maxed out at 10%. So you deal an extra 10% of their maximum health as magic damage. Now you can only use this passive ability once every 10 seconds on the same target. Now I usually go in order Q, W, E, R for abilities, but with Zed I'm going to start with his W because that really applies to all different abilities as well. Now Zed's W is called Living Shadow. What happens is you have a passive ability and an active ability. The passive, whenever you put a point in this, Zed's bonus auto attack damage is increased by 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25% based on the ability level of his Living Shadow. Now, that's great. It's really going to help you out with your ultimate, which we'll get to later, but the real skill that you need to learn on W is the active, and that is his actual shadow. Now, Zed's shadow will be shot forward. It is a skill shot as well, so anywhere your mouse is, that's where your shadow is going to go, and it's going to stay there for 4 seconds. Now, if you cast W again while his shadow is active, it'll cause Zed to switch positions with the shadow. One of the best things about his shadow is it mimics all of Zed's abilities. So if you use your Q, your E, which we will get to, his shadow also does the exact same abilities. So if you're killing somebody, you want to throw out your shadow, then you can E and Q them, and the ability will come from Zed and from his shadow itself. Now if both of the shadow and Zed strike the same target, Zed regains energy. This will really allow you to stay effective in team fights longer, so make sure you hit your abilities. Now Zed's Q is called Razor Shuriken. Now Zed and his shadows will both throw their shurikens wherever you are aimed. Again, use smart casting. I have that in my 10 League of Legends tips videos. That'll be linked here. Check that out. But use smart cast for this ability. It's fantastic. You hit Q, it is a skill shot. He throws out his shurikens, and like I said previously, your W, your shadow will mimic you. So as part of a combo, you can W, you can Q, and both shurikens will hit your enemy. It'll not only restore your energy, but it will also deal more damage. Now Zed's E is called Shadow Slash. Zed and his shadows will create a burst of shadow, dealing physical damage to any enemies. This works on minions, champions, monsters as well. Basically, he spins in a circle and strikes everything around him. Now this Shadow Slash will actually reduce the cooldown of Living Shadow by 1 second for each enemy struck with it. If you throw out a shadow and reactivate it to switch places with your shadow, and then throw out an E in the middle of a minion wave, and you hit 6 minions, you'll actually get 6 seconds taken off of the cooldown on Living Shadow. It could be life-saving, especially in lane when you don't have an escape. 6 seconds is a huge amount of time for an ability to be off cooldown, so make sure you hit as many things as you can with your E. Now the Shadow Slash on the shadow, if you throw out your W first, will do damage as well. However, it will also slow enemies for 1.5 seconds. So if you throw out your shadow with W and then E on top of your enemy, your shadow will spin and slow whichever enemy you're part of. Now this is very great in lane when you want to harass. You throw out your shadow on top of the opponent, hit E so it slows them down, and then you can use your Q. It gives you more time to line up your Q because they are slower. You'll almost never miss. Now Zed's ultimate is called Death Mark. This is what makes Zed Zed. Without this ability, he wouldn't be nearly as fun to play or nearly as productive in the game. Zed becomes untargetable and dashes to an enemy champion. Once he lands on that champion, he marks the target for death and spawns a shadow back where he started. So wherever you hit R from to start his ultimate, that is where your shadow will stay. Now that shadow lasts 6 seconds instead of 4 like his W, and it'll also mimic Zed's abilities. So his E, his Q, anything like that, it'll mimic just like your normal living shadow, plus reactivating the death mark, reactivating your ultimate will put Zed right back in. Now this is fantastic for getting in on champions, doing damage especially under tower, and then immediately ulting back so they can't even get one hit on you. It's fantastic. Now after 3 seconds, the mark that you have set will detonate, and it deals physical damage of all of Zed's damage that you apply to them while the death mark is active, plus 20, 30, or 50% of the damage dealt of all magic and physical damage. You ult onto them, do as much damage as possible, and then ult out of there. All of the damage you dealt will be dealt to them, plus when the death mark activates and blows, all of that damage plus 20 to 50% of it will be then tagged onto the target, and it'll cause huge damage. Now, this works, like I said, incredibly well with tower diving. It allows you to get in and out of tower range safely. If you've poked your opponent down in lane, they're farming under turret, death mark them, do your damage, and then ult right back out. You maybe will take one tower shot, and it'll do so much damage to them. It's fantastic. Now for starting items, I almost always go with a longsword plus 3 health pots, including a trinket, the warding totem as well. But that's usually my start for Zed. I start that almost no matter what. If you need to, you can start boots and 4 health pots. If you're going against a Ziggs or something like that that has a lot of skill shots that do a lot of damage, so you can dodge easier. But longsword is really the best start for Zed. Now as a first buy, I like to rush either brutalizer or cutlass. Both of these items really help out your attack damage, and the cutlass builds into Blade of the Ruin King, which most likely will be your first item that you want to complete. So like I said, the first item you want to complete will be Blade of the Ruin King. Whatever damage you apply while your ultimate is active will also set the mark off. So whenever you use the active of Blade of the Ruin King, not only does it slow the enemy, but the damage from the active will get applied to the death mark as well. It synergizes great with Zed's kit, and I absolutely recommend it on him. Now for boots, I usually go boots and mobility. It really helps you get around the map quickly, and Zed is an assassin. You want to go from lane to lane, take out champions, help your team push, and these really help. If you're going up against a real heavy AP comp, maybe you have 2 or 3 AP on the other side, you can get your merc treads, especially if you're going up against a lot of CC. Now you want to consider those, like I said, if you're going up against 2 or 3 mages or really long CCs, then you definitely want to grab those. Now after Blade of the Ruin King and my boots, I like to pick up Yumu's. Again, the active works perfectly with his ultimate. It gives you attack damage, it gives you cooldown reduction, it gives you critical strike chance. Everything that you need in an item for Zed works great right here. Plus its active gives you a move speed boost, so you can get around the map even quicker and use it with your ultimate as well. It gives you that extra attack speed. Now if I'm going up against an AP mid or an AP team, I like to pick up Maw of Malmortius. Now this gives you attack damage plus magic resistance. It's a fantastic item. You should be building it on any AD champ if you're going up against AP at any point. After Maw, I like to build Last Whisper. By this point in the game, the enemy will have armor. Last Whisper cuts through that armor by 35%. It's absolutely crucial on Zed if you want to be 1v1ing people late game. Now for my defensive item, I usually always pick up Guardian Angel. Gives you a mix of armor plus magic resistance, and you revive yourself if you do die in a fight, which is fantastic late game. It gives you a chance to get out of there again. Now playing as Zed, you mostly want to split push past the laning phase. Like I said, you want to roam a lot with Zed. Get those mobility boots and push your side lanes. You should be able to 1v1 every mid laner, jungle, and ADC out there. If there is a tanky top laner that you're going up against, just avoid the lane that he's in and go to the other lane and split push, and then get your gold, push the lanes, and go back and buy items so you can 1v1 him. Zed's job as an assassin is to catch people out of position, so you can hide in your bushes, go to where the lane is pushing, wait for the other team to come and push that. Usually it's their ADC, because they're trying to get their ADC farm, so when they come down there, hop right onto them, use your ultimate, and take them down instantly. So guys, I hope this guide helps you out. Like I said, Zed is one of my favorite champions to play. The escapes on him with his W, with his ultimate are fantastic, and you can really learn the ins and outs of this champion the more you play. He is easy to get into, and it's somewhat easy to be good at him, but if you really want to be a master, understand his kit completely, you're going to need to play him a lot. So let me know what you think about the guide in the comments below. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what champion you would like me to do a guide on next, and as always, stay active.
Hitmakers.